Hi, I'm Danny and these are my Diecast Disasters. In this video I'm going to be restoring a Corgi number 225, the Austin 7 Mini. These were produced from 1960 until 1964. There were apparently 4 different chassis types for this. This is the type 1A. And I think this is one of the earlier models on account of the style of the wheels. Taking a closer look off of the turntable, we can see that the car is in pretty good condition. It's mainly just got chipped paint, and for some reason the windscreen is in quite a bad state. Seems to have paint on it. I don't know whether somebody's tried to repaint this car at some point. The windscreen also has some sort of gluey residue perhaps on it. Nice thick bases on these old Corgi toys. You can tell it's the 1A version chassis on account of the holes over the axles. So the first step is to carefully drill out the rivets and take the car apart. Here you can see where paint has leaked under the windscreen. It's gluing the windscreen in there a bit. There's also some red paint on the windscreen as well though, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. The tyres are easily popped off of the rims. There's no way those wheels and axles are coming out of there. I now use some poly stripper to remove the paint from the castings. With the paint removed, I can use a wire brush on my rotary tool to clean them up and remove any remaining paint and oxidation. I tidy up the rivet posts a little bit. Now I can use a 1.7mm drill and a 256 tap to drill and tap the rivet posts. The rear post isn't really feeling good, so I don't drill it very deep. I use a grinder to shorten the screw to account for the shallow hole on the rear axle. I can now paint the car red. I used Tamiya TS8 rattle can. It's Italian red, and I think it's a perfect match for the original red that was on the car. You can be the judge of that at the end of the video. I next mask off the roof and paint it a cream. I detail the bumpers, grille and lights with some Tamiya chrome silver. And this is all finished off with a couple of coats of gloss clear. For the base, I masked off the wheels and then painted it in the same Tamiya Italian red. Moving on to the interior. The interior on this little Corgi is again a sort of vacuum formed, super thin plastic. It's really low quality. The windscreen is okay. I start by removing the paint from the windscreen by putting it in a jar of tap hot water and adding a spoonful of caustic soda. Here it is after a few minutes soaking in the caustic solution and then rinsed off and given a rub. I give it a sand with some 1200 grit sandpaper. This is the worst side. It has quite a bad mark on it. I thought this was on top of the plastic, but it's kind of in it. Maybe something has spilled on it which has dissolved it a little bit, or some sort of glue on there. Anyway, I do my best to tidy it up. There's a couple of tiny cracks and other chips, but I think I've got it looking pretty tidy. I can now give it a polish. I then finish it with a dip in some self-shining floor polish. The interior was just given a wash in some soapy water. You can see it's almost transparently thin in places. So here are all our parts, refurbished, repainted and ready to go back together. The first step is to pop on the tyres. I remove the screws. And I can now pop the car back together and screw it back up. So before we take a look at our restored Austin 7, let's take a moment to look back and be reminded of what we started with. Our little Corgi Mini has sure seen better days with a rough, worn out paint job and scruffy, paint stained windows. Looking like a bit of a die-cast disaster, this little Mini could sure do with a clean-up. And here it is, our restored Corgi number 225, the Austin 7 Mini. It's sure looking a lot smarter now with a nice new shiny clean paint job. And those worn out old windows have been tidied up and are now nice and clear. It's now a perfect little car to pop off down to the dairy or out for a Sunday drive. While we take a look at some pictures of our little Mini parked up by the river, I'll just take a moment to welcome all my new subscribers and say a massive thanks to everyone for the awesome comments and likes on my videos. Thanks heaps. And an extra special thanks to my awesome Patreon supporters. If you'd like to help support the channel and get to see a little bit of extra content, you can check out my Patreon page. There'll be a link in the description below. Thanks heaps for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.